All right, so I'm going to share 5 beliefs with you that held me back from starting my YouTube channel. These were things I was either afraid of, procrastinating on, or just overthinking. And if I had had this video, if I had this information, it would have helped me start my channel so much sooner and get monetized so much faster. So when you're starting YouTube, not only can it be confusing because there's so many people telling you to do this and to do that, but you also have to face any fears you may have about being on camera or just putting yourself out there onto the internet. I was in this same position a year ago towards the end of October, early November when I started my channel and posted my first video. So the first thing that might be holding you back and which really held me back was people on YouTube, when you look up how to start your YouTube channel and things, is people saying, find your niche, right? What is your niche? You need to have a niche in order to start. Now, I think this is a really bad thing to get into your mind from the start, because when you're just trying to start making a video, you don't want to have to think about what is your niche, what is your niche going to be? So really my solution for this is, and what I did was just think about it more as if you're building a personal brand, the niche is you, right? So the niche is about things you're interested in, your hobbies, your work, anything you're learning, your values. You just want to put a lot of different things out there. And so don't think so much about your niche, okay? You might be thinking, a lot of people say choose a niche and get really narrow so that people know what your channel is about and so that you can grow faster, right? They'll tell you you need to niche in order for your channel to grow, to go viral. The thing about this is that if you go down this road, the downside of going down this road is that you're not going to be as authentic. You're not going to come off as authentic to people, okay? And so you might not be able to grow as fast, okay? It's true. You might not be able to grow as fast if you go more broad with your content. But if you go more broad with your content, you're going to attract people who are interested in your perspective on things and you, as opposed to just the topic, right? So I've gone through this personally and made the mistake of taking the advice of really niching down like really hard. And what happens is over time, you might get interested in something else. You may not be interested in that niche anymore. And so what happens is you have to make a whole new channel, right? Start over from scratch, a whole new channel. Or if you don't start a whole new channel and you just start posting about other things you're interested in, people aren't interested in it because they didn't come for you, right? They weren't coming from you. They were coming for the topic that you were talking about. So you don't want to box yourself in like that. That was a mistake I made. Do not make that mistake. And don't listen to people who are telling you you need to essentially, niche down really hard and really narrow so that you can grow fast. Because at the end of the day, you're building a personal brand, and a personal brand is about you. It's about the things you're interested in, the values you have, and kind of where you're going in life, right? That's what you're sharing. You don't want to box yourself in to make you feel like you have to do the same thing every day, right? Because we're building this so that we can, express ourselves, our creativity, what we have to share with the world, and essentially have more freedom. So it doesn't make any sense to do that. Now, the other thing you might be thinking is, well, I'm starting a personal brand and I want to sell something, which is a great thing, right? You want to be able to sell something in the future, like a service or a product, because you want to turn it into a business and be able to make money so you can keep doing it and keep making content and helping people. So in that regard, it's a good idea to sometimes make videos on the topic and the specific topic that your product and service is going to be about. So let's say, for example, you're going to be doing something like helping people with their YouTube channels, okay? If you want to help people grow their YouTube channels and that's going to be your service or your product, well, occasionally you'd make YouTube videos about how to do YouTube, but you would also share other aspects of your life, other thoughts you have, other things you're learning. That way, it's a more multifaceted personal brand and you're not locked into that one thing. This also allows you in the future, if you want to possibly shift to another offer, right, that's in another area, you don't have to completely change your audience in order to do that. You get what I'm saying? So if you want to switch then to talking about, fitness or mental health or something, you can now shift your offer over and your service and product over under that category because you've been talking about it and you've built a sort of wider net. So it's really important to not niche down too hard, and don't take that advice of trying to do it. And because basically what people are saying to do is niche down really hard so that you can grow fast. And it's not about growing fast. It's about growing a personal brand that is here for the long term and that people will actually be attracted to you and the things you're interested in, as opposed to just the topic you talk about. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about picking your niche. Just start by posting things that you're actually interested in. I used to have actually a channel about fishing and like just fishing tutorials, fishing guides, like, and just like vlogs of me fishing. But what happened was over time, I stopped being interested in that topic. And so since my whole brand, personal brand was built around that one topic, I had to start a whole new channel and start from scratch. And I had that channel monetized as well. So it just doesn't work out well. So just don't take that road if you're going to be building a personal brand. All right. So the next big thing that's going to be holding you back potentially is going to be being on camera, right? When you go to get on camera, you're probably going to feel nervous or anxious. And essentially this comes down to you, and maybe you don't like the way that you look or the way that you sound, or you're just kind of insecure about being on camera. And this is totally normal. Like when you first start, it's weird, right? It's not normal for us to be on camera. It's not like a normal thing for humans to do. So you're not used to seeing yourself talking and expressing your ideas and stuff. So it's going to be really like cringe. You're probably going to feel kind of like cringed out at first at it. But like if you just keep doing it, what happens is over time you get used to it. And obviously you're going to get better at it, because anything you repeat over time, you get better at. So you need to essentially conquer this fear by just recording a video and continuing to do that over and over and over again, so that you get used to seeing yourself on camera and talking and everything like that. And you might be kind of afraid that you're going to get negative comments, or just about like your ideas or the way you look or your personality or anything. And that's true. You might get some negative comments, but the vast majority of people are going to appreciate the fact that you're putting yourself out there and you're offering value to the world. You don't have to do this. You're choosing to do this. So most people are going to be happy that they're finding someone who's authentic and confident enough to just come out, and brave enough to come out and share themselves. So don't let this be something that holds you back. I know that I've heard this from a lot of people and experienced it myself. You record yourself on camera and you're like, oh my God, like I hate the way that I sound, though I hate the way that I look, I hate like the way that I'm speaking. And it's just a natural reaction that your brain is having, because it's not used to seeing you on camera. So what you need to do, like I said, is just repeatedly do it over and over again, and you'll get better at it. Another thing you can do is, if you don't want to post yet, what you can do is every day record yourself like talking to the camera, and you don't have to post it. It's just like a warm up to doing your first video if you haven't made your first video yet. So like every day, maybe you just talk about what you did during that day, at the end of the day or beginning of the day, whatever. And then you don't post that, and maybe you just delete it off your phone and then do it for, 3 or 4 days just to warm up. But don't let this be something that holds you back, because you're going to get negative comments. There's always negative comments. There's always haters. But at the end of the day, if you want to, build a personal brand, you got to be willing to put yourself out there and willing to show who you really are, And like I said, most people are not going to be coming at you over like ad hominem shit, like attacking you for the way you look or the way you dress or speak or anything like that. Most likely what happens is you actually attract people who are kind of like you or have a similar personality to you. The other thing I want to say is try to be as authentic as possible. And like, for example, don't just change like everything that you wear. Don't change the clothes that you wear. Don't change the way that you speak, I'm not saying don't improve it, but don't try to completely change the way that you are to try to make it seem more professional or just different from who you are, because that's going to make you seem more awkward on camera, right? When I first started out, obviously I was a little bit, nervous about being on camera, and so I wouldn't really be myself as much, right? And over time, as you warm up, you get to be more authentic and more relatable. Another great way to think about this too is you can essentially act like, when you're talking to the camera, just act like you're talking to a friend of yours, right? That you're just sitting down in a one-on-one conversation and you're talking to a friend. Don't think about, oh, I'm posting this video and it's going to go to 1 million people or 100,000 people are going to see this. Because that's going to come off, if you're trying to talk to the person like it's a whole big audience, it's going to feel like a bit of a disconnect, right? So when you're making your first video, just think about like you're talking to a friend, right? You're talking to a friend, or maybe you're talking to the younger version of yourself or whatever, if you're doing like these talking head type videos. And yeah, that's pretty much all the tips I have for that. The most important thing is just to face your fear. Don't let the fear of being on camera stop you from living up to your potential and getting what you want out of life. You have to really conquer this fear by just getting on camera, repeating the process over and over and over again until you get used to it. And eventually you'll come to appreciate yourself. And even if all the flaws that you have, maybe you're not like the best at speaking or whatever yet, but it will get better over time and you just got to do it. All right, so let's move on to the third thing, right? The third thing that might hold you back or that might kind of slow you down, impede your progress, which is thinking that basically you need to have special equipment. Okay, a lot of people talk about how, I can't start YouTube because I don't have one of those DSLR cameras, or I don't have a mic, or I don't have like a great editing software or whatever, right? I'm shooting this video right now on my phone, and it's not even like a new phone, right? It's just an Android Samsung Galaxy, and I'm using that. And like this mic I have right here, this is more of like an expensive mic, but I didn't have this at first, right? I didn't have this when I first started. And so really at the end of the day, your equipment doesn't really matter. If you've got a phone, you can literally just start on your phone. Your phone is good enough. Like I use this phone that I'm using right now and I got my channel monetized. So it's not the phone or the mic that's going to hold you back from having success. What's going to hold you back is yourself, right? And if you're doing these kind of talking head videos where you're trying to like either inspire people, educate people, you're kind of teaching things that you've learned in life, whatever, any type of talking head videos like that, people aren't coming for your equipment. People aren't coming for the fancy camera, right? They're not coming for the fancy editing software. They're not coming for your fancy microphone. Really, the bare minimum tools you need is just a phone. And yes, obviously at some point you want to get a microphone, whether that's like a separate one like the one I have here, or if you were to attach it to your phone, or like one that attaches to your phone, right? Yeah, you want to get that because you want the audio to be good. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What matters is you being on camera and you providing that value through that education or entertainment that you're doing. That's what people are really coming for. They're not going to like click off your video because you don't happen to have like a fancy DSLR camera. The other great thing about using your phone instead of having a big bulky camera is that it's a lot more portable. So if you want to make a video while you're out on the go, or you're traveling somewhere, way easier to do on your phone. Way easier to do on your phone. I used to have one of those cameras. I didn't have like a full DSLR, but it was like one of the camcorders. And it was so much more complicated because you had the batteries, you had to charge the batteries, you had to take the SIM card out, right, and put that into the computer. It's a whole big process. So if you're just starting, don't let this be an excuse that stops you, right? You don't need fancy equipment. Like I said, this is my setup. I'm using a phone and I'm using an external microphone, but you could even get one that just attaches onto your phone, and that's plenty. All right, so next up is you might be concerned that your background or the setting of your videos isn't good enough, right? Like you need like special lighting, or you need to have like that blur effect. Like, a lot of videos have like that blur effect. You might be thinking about that. You might be thinking about maybe you need to have like I said, like special lighting, like that YouTuber, like, when you click on all those channels and they got like those special lights like over here in the background and like goes up the wall and stuff. You might be thinking you need that. None of that. See, all these things that you're coming up with excuses and all these things, they're really just mindset issues, right? They are just ways to procrastinate. And either that, or it's actually a false belief because you think maybe by having a better setting that it's going to get you more views and that those views are going to lead to more subscribers and you're going to get monetized. That stuff doesn't really matter. I have a video on my channel. You can go look, and it's got almost 100,000 views, and it was literally just me sitting here like this, right? It was just me sitting here like this, barely any edits, anything. And a lot of times you'll find your videos that do really good are just like some basic ass videos that you thought were shit, and like all of a sudden they just blow up. So it's really, you don't need to worry about all these little things like your studio setup, all these kind of things. They're really not that important unless you're someone who's doing videos to make cinematic videos, right? If you're trying to make movies or you're trying to make very fancy looking videos and that's what you're passionate about, there's no need for you to really be concerned with these things because again, what you're bringing in terms of value, it's not about the fancy video, right? It's not about the fancy background. It's about you and what you know and your lessons and things that you're sharing to people. So don't get caught up in all that. It's just either a way for you to procrastinate and not focus on the real work that needs to be done, or it's a limiting belief in your head that you literally think that it's going to get you more views. And I'm telling you right now, it's not. You can go back and look at my earlier videos when I first started. I was kind of in this mode of trying to have like a nice fancier setup with like some posters and stuff up in the back. it didn't make a difference. And when I moved into this other room in my place here and I didn't have any of that stuff, guess what? I got a viral video. So it doesn't matter. All right, the last thing that you may be procrastinating on or overthinking is your channel layout and your channel profile, right? You might be thinking, oh, like what name should I have? What should my banner say? My about page? So let's start with the first thing, which is your channel name. So the channel name, if you're making a personal brand, and it's going to be like this, like right now, the way my channel is, me on camera, talking, sharing different things in my life. And it's going to be, that's more the style. It's like talking head, personal brand style. You really want to use your own name because at the end of the day, people will trust you more if you're willing to take accountability, right? One of the big things is taking accountability, and having your own name on your channel is taking accountability. So you're not trying to hide behind a username, gamer9x11,000 or, whatever. Like, you need to actually have your name out there so that if you're building a personal brand, that's kind of the whole point, right? Is you're building a brand around yourself. So it doesn't even need to have to be like your full legal name or whatever. You could shorten it or, do whatever, like kind of do like even like a nickname, but you want it to basically be close to what your real name is or your real name, because people will trust you more and it builds a real relationship with people where they know what your name is, and you can actually have real conversations with people on YouTube without them referring to you as like, Slick Gamer 105 or some weird shit like that. Like, this is not Xbox 360. This is not PS4. This is not, Steam, right? This is not Steam on PC where we're going around with like aliases and stuff. So this is supposed to be turning you, eventually this could turn into a real business for you. So you want to actually legitimize it and take accountability. In terms of your channel setup, like your about page, your profile picture, your banner picture, really just try to make it somewhat cohesive and focused on kind of where you're heading, right? Or what you're about roughly. But again, these are kind of things that you don't really want to be putting a lot of your focus on. It might even make sense to hire somebody to do these things, because at the end of the day, it's not going to make a huge difference, right? There's people who have 2 million subscribers where their banner and their profile picture is like a letter or one word. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a significant thing. This is one of those things where you get target, like focus, tunnel vision on these little things that don't really matter, because you think that there's going to be some sort of benefit. You think that you're going to get more views and subscribers because your channel banner and your profile picture are like pretty and perfect and they're all set up and it makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. What matters is the value you bring in your content. So don't focus too much on those things. Like I said, try to have your channel name your real name. Try to maybe give an idea roughly about what you're about, what kind of content you're making. And the last thing I want to say is too, around the name, around the whole thing with naming your channel, if you're planning on doing a faceless channel or a channel where it's literally a marketing tool for your business and it's not a personal brand, that's a different scenario in which you would probably want to use your business name, because you might have other people making videos on that channel, right? Other people's faces and stuff are going to be on that channel. So you would name it the business name and it'd be your business brand channel. But for a personal brand, like I said, if it's just going to be you on camera showing your face, that's not going to be able to be outsourced. So you want to really just have it under your own name, take that accountability. And so that's really all the tips I got for you, bro. These are a lot of the things that held me back, a lot of the things that I spent a lot of time overthinking, procrastinating on, and I just don't want it to be you, because I know if you're someone who's interested in making a YouTube channel, you've probably got a lot to add to the world, a lot of value, and you could help a lot of people. So the longer you wait, the longer you sit back and you let these things stop you from making your first video, your first 10 videos, you're essentially depriving the world of the value you have to offer, and you're depriving yourself of the benefit of providing that value in terms of the subscribers you could get, the money you could make, and just the impact you could have. So today, go out there, just make your first video, right? It's important that after watching this video, now that I've kind of brought up a lot of these things and hopefully dispelled a lot of the limiting beliefs that you have, that you go actually make your first video. Like, don't have this be another one of those videos you go and then just watch 10 more videos and don't take action. Go out there today, make a video, make your first video. It could be 3 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, it could be a minute. Okay, just you talking about something you're interested in, sharing something about your life, and just upload it to YouTube. Don't worry about the title. Don't worry about the thumbnail. Don't worry about all your channel banners and everything like that. Just upload it and get it out of the way, because when you make that first upload, you essentially break through, right? You break through that wall that's been blocking you from starting your channel for so long. And I know how that feels. So just go out there, get after it, upload your first video, and it's probably not going to get any views anyway. So it's not something to worry about. It's not like you're going to upload your first video and it's going to go viral. I mean, that's so rare that happens. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I just want to say good luck to you, and I will see you later.